G'day everybody. I've got this side cover for my XS1100 engine and it's had a whack here. You can see inside it's quite knocked about. It's actually cracked. It's only covering the points. I think that if I can knock that dent out and then put some sort of sealer inside, I might be able to get it to look half decent on the outside. So I'm going to try that by heating it up and knocking it out with a hammer. I don't have proper panel beating hammers, but I'm just going to give it a go with some punches and a ball peen. So let's give it a crack. Okay, the problem with heating aluminium is that it doesn't change colour. It's not like steel where it will change through different colours and let you know what temperature you're at. I know that if you're annealing aluminium, you can use a permanent marker to basically heat it until the marker disappears, and then it's at the right temperature to anneal. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm just going to scribble some permanent marker in around here, see what happens when I heat it up. Wow, that is working. It's come out quite a long way. Excuse the camera angles, but I'm just got to keep moving. Alarmingly, there's bits of aluminium casting there. Right. I think I need to be a bit more defined. Use a pin punch. Third hand would be good. Right, okay, I don't want to take that any further because it's starting to break up. I'm going to end up with a hole in it. Okay, so it is fractured, but I'll put some metal putty in there and then try and file it back or something, I guess, until it starts to look a bit more like part of the metal. Okay, let's try the next stage. Now, if I had the equipment to weld that up with aluminium, I would, but I don't. So, I'm going to use a 2-pack epoxy. The one I've got, epoxy steel resin system. It's bought from a local nut and bolt supplier. Yep. So. Doesn't say whether it can be used with aluminium or not. This is the hardener. This is the 4-minute steel epoxy. Yep, alright, we'll get going and try and fill that up and then come back and address it. Got all the paint out of the way. I'm going to wipe it down now with some wax and grease remover to make sure it's a nice clean surface. Important that you wipe it off with a clean rag, because all that muck stayed. When you're repairing panels on a car, when you're prepping for paint, you want to just do small sections at a time. Make sure that someone's following you with a clean buffing cloth. Alright, let's see what we can do with it. Alright, I've got this lid for a plastic container I'm going to use to mix it up on a mixing stick. 2 parts. Still feel nice. They recommend 50-50 mix. So hopefully that'll be enough. Can always mix up more. But anyway, we'll get going with this. It waits for no man. Sets in 4 minutes, so I just want to make sure it's a consistent colour. Start on the outside because that's the bit that's going to be seen. Push it down in there, use pressure. And try and remove the excess, shape it, because crack there. Because once it hardens, it'll be all that much harder. Bit of a dent there. I might just leave that. Try and file it out and sand it out later. So that's the outside done. I think I'm going to need a bit more. squash through to the inside, which is a good sign. Actually, I don't know that I'll need more. Just pop that on there. You can just use any sort of silicone sealer or Sikaflex or something, I imagine, on the inside. That's not going to be seen. Voila. I'll let that dry now, and then we'll come back and see if we can't finish it. And then try and clean the rest of the cover up and get it to a point where I'm happy to put it on the bike. All right, let's wait for it to set. I didn't want to bore you silly sitting here with a file for ages, but it has gone hard. It still feels a little bit like soft, doesn't feel like steel, but it seems to come up all right. I'm just going to use a couple of flat files to reshape it now. Take it back down to the original casing and try and dress these edges up. And I think that that's going to be good enough. Once that gets a bit of paint on it, polish all this, it'll be a lot better than what it was. I mean, it had an obvious dent in there and big cracks. So, I mean, it should keep the water out. That's all. It doesn't have to hold oil or anything in there. In fact, it's actually got a drain in the bottom to let any liquids out. So we'll just keep going. I'll come back and show you when it's all filed up and ready to go. Okay, that's I managed to get a run painting it, and I'll probably just scuff that off later and repaint that. But while I had it on the bench waiting to finish it, I sanded down the aluminium and polished it. I didn't bother showing you that because I've already got a whole video in my playlist on how to polish aluminium motorcycle parts. And then I sanded the whole thing down, and I was able to give it a wipe down with some prep wash, some wax and grease remover, and I think that a blind man on a galloping horse would be glad to see that, to be honest. It's come up a lot better than what it was, and yeah, I'll happily put that on the bike now. It'll sort of look as good as the rest of the engine. This is the clutch cover. Managed to give it the same treatment. You can use grease instead of tape. This paint's still a bit soft, but yes, you can use, once you've got this all ready to paint, you can wipe grease over the bits you don't want the paint to stick to. And then once it's dry, you simply get a clean rag and wipe the grease off. But I've gone to the trouble of masking. It's not, can be quite fiddly. There we go. Clutch cover. Ignition cover. It's needs a bit of a touch up there. I didn't mask that very well. You can see here it looks a bit ragged. So what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll mask that, clean that up, and give me an excuse to sand that run off the paint, and then I'll give it another lick. So essentially, we've been able to rescue this cover and, you know, bring the engine up to a standard where it's I'm a lot happier with it. There's lots of scars and dents in these covers, and I'm not going to bother to try and remove them all. I think it makes up part of the character of the bike, tells part of the story. It's not a brand new bike. All right, well, good luck with your restorations. Join us next time on Basket Case.